Hi everyone, this is Richard the Legend Board Game Fanatic, and today I'm doing a special video, and it's a supplemental of Defcon 1 when it comes to the rule book and the technology book and the procedures. When I went through the first few videos that have been very popular online, because I'm like one of the only ones that have done the Defcon 1 rules. There are a few things that I wasn't very clear on when I was looking at my video and following it, and I decided when I was playing with my nephew, we had some questions, and I thought it'd be best to make my own reference guide. So I took the stuff from the rule book, I took some stuff from the technology book, I took some stuff online at Board Game Geek and a few other places that gave me a more clear explanation of each specific aspect of the game. So I'm going to attach those to my description, so you can print those out if you want. I recommend you print out at least 4 copies. You can have 4 players playing. Each person has their own specific reference guides. There's going to be a few that I'm going to go over. So that's basically what I'm doing with this. It's not going to be a playthrough video, but I'm going to show you some examples of things, go on the map, show you what I'm talking about when explanations of the areas, stuff like that, and how to do combat and movement and all that. There's some stuff that was really unclear when I went through. I tried to make it as clear as possible, but then I said, hey, let me just do one more supplemental video of this so you guys get a gist of it. And I hope this is informative to everyone who did purchase the game, and will help them make it easier for them when they play with other players. Okay, so let's get started. If you have not subscribed yet, always hit that subscribe button. And so you can see any other videos I've done. This is going to be my 245th video that I've made so far. I'm going to have 5 more videos, and then I'm going to do some top 10s, because it's been a while since I did a top 10 video. My top 10s have changed somewhat, and so I am going to do those specifically, like 5 videos maybe, of my top 10s of my competitive, my cooperative videos, my story videos, family games. I'm sorry, videos, I meant games. Let's see. Cooperative, competitive, story, campaign, and then family games. So 5 videos. There's some stuff that I purchased. I got a lot more games coming still that may change my top 10 again. But I want to go into that every year or so, maybe just have an updated list that I think would be beneficial for you guys, and I'll have my pros and cons in that. Okay, so let's get to Defcon 1 supplemental, and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, first reference sheet I have is the areas reference sheet. The main reason I put this out, because some of the stuff is unclear, and we had a lot of, me and my nephew had a lot of discussions on this, because the rules kind of are a little bit, the way they wrote it, it was very unclear to him, and then I questioned it myself a little bit, so I did some research. So this is going to help you in the game. So when you do a specific scenario, and those scenarios are by your block boards, any one country or any faction that you're playing with a block board is considered a main area. And each of these blocks have a color. So for example, Russia is kind of reddish color. You see the reddish color here. Those are main areas. America, Atlantic, the Alliance section. That's going to be America and Europe is in blue. Alright, and China is in orange. We have NAM is in green, if it's in the Pacific scenario. And light blue is France. Okay? So those are the main areas. Now, if an area is not included in a scenario, and that is going to be considered a neutral main area. That means that's not played in the scenario, but you will add stuff to that area before the game starts, because it's going to have military, may have some control markers, may have some supplies there and so forth. So depending on the scenario you're playing, they're going to tell you exactly what you're supposed to put in the neutral area. So in example, we're doing east and west. That's what we did in the last few videos, and I have those videos will be in the description also, so you can access them from this video if you want to watch it. So NAM is going to be a neutral area. All the green color areas are called neutral. All right. There's a note that's in the rulebook that I thought was very important. Every block has its own core territory, which is only territory composed of 3 areas. For example, U.S. Alliance. It's going to be U.S. 3, U.S. 2, and U.S. 1. To control this, you need all 3 areas to control it. Okay. Same thing goes for Russia. You have Russia 1, 2, and 3. You have China, Hebei 3, 1, and 2. And France is France 1, 2, and 3. And I think it's NAM is Iran 1, 2, and 3. So those are them. Those have controlled by 3 others. You have to have all 3 of those to control the area. And east and west, our objective was to control one of the 2 areas, either France or control France or USA by China or Russia. And the same thing goes for USA and France. They're going to try to get China, 3 control areas, core territory, or the core territory for Russia. So that's what that is. Secondary area. This is what's the most confusing, because the secondary areas are all in gray. That makes it very easy. I went online, I went on things just to verify everything was correct. Any area that has a gray area is a secondary area. Now, if any opposing blocks have control markers in those areas, they are still considered secondary areas. Okay? Land control is represented by a block's control marker. Now, it also will have military tokens in there that will control an area. You do not have to have both in there. So but the control marker in there without any type of military vehicle will be controlled by that specific block. Airtime occupancy. You can never control a maritime ocean area. They are occupied or empty. The way you know they're occupied is by having a ship in that area. And there can only be 1 ship per area. The same goes for the control areas. It can only have one control marker, one vehicle or one control marker. Alright, that's how it works, okay? So that is our reference sheet. Now the reason I wrote this down is because when you go into the Defcon levels and determine what actions you can do, there's specific actions you can do during a Defcon level. So that will be the next reference sheet that we'll talk about, and that will be the Defcon level action reference sheet. Alright, so let's get to that, and we'll grab that, and we'll go into showing what Defcon levels, how we can know that we're in a Defcon level, and all that, okay? Okay, so what we have is we have Defcon levels starting at 5 and going down to 1. Alright, so Defcon 5 on our preference guide, there are certain actions you can do. First one is make coups in opponent's main areas. Alright, you cannot attack in any main areas but you can make coups. And the way you do that is by doing coups, and we'll explain what the coups do on our round reference guide that we have. And that's what you can do to start controlling main areas, but you cannot attack them. Alright, that's the main difference. You can do any type of coups to try to take it over if you have some type of influence in that specific control area. There may be a chance, may have, whatever your color is listed on a specific area, you can go into that area and try to control it. Make coup or attacks in neutral main areas and second areas. So in the first Defcon 5, you can attack any gray area or any area that is not portrayed by a control board in the game. Like for example, in East and West, like we explained, it's green. So green, we can attack these areas as much as we want. We could also do coups in those areas. We could also do coups in the gray areas. Alright, so that's what that is. Neutral main areas that are not played in the scenario, and secondary areas. You can bomb neutral areas and any secondary areas. So that means you can use your ships to bomb areas in the neutral area, the green, for example, that we're playing in East and West, or any gray areas, just like attacking, using your ships. You regain control of your block main areas by making coups and attacks. That means the person who controls that area, and they do control that area, even if there's a coup there, can use the attack to take a coup out. Or they can coup it, and it takes longer, but they can do that too, and take it over. Alright, now Defcon 4 is escalated a little bit. So besides all the stuff we just explained in Defcon 5, besides actions of Defcon 5, you may attack opposing naval units with your naval units. So in Defcon 5, you cannot attack other people's naval units. You'd have to wait till Defcon 4 to do that. Alright. Defcon 3. Besides actions at Defcon 5 and 4, you may produce nuclear missiles. That means you can produce them during the nuclear phase, and also equip them in your SSPNs if you have those available on the map, and have them available and installed. The only problem is if you do an SSBN and you get attacked by another player, you will get those destroyed and you will have to start from scratch. Defcon 2, getting closer to Defcon 1. Besides actions Defcon 5, 4, and 3, bomb opposing main areas. You may take attack in the opposing main area. So 2 is like the main attack area. Attack time for where you can attack any area you want. And that's basically the things that's most concerning in 2. So Defcon 1, besides actions for Defcon 5, 4, 3, and 2, you may launch missiles. So and during the nuclear phase, there's a spot where you can do nuclear actions and shoot nuclear missiles to other opposing blocks. Alright, so that is our Defcon level action reference guide. That may help you out a little bit to keep track of what actions you can do during that specific Defcon level. Now, next thing we'll be discussing is the setup guide. The reason I did a setup guide is because there's so many pages that you go back and forth through the rule guide just to get the setup correctly. So I try to go and make it as easy as possible. So we'll explain that next and show you how it's set up. Okay, as soon as that's done, we will go into the rounds. And I will go through maybe 2 different rounds, show some examples, and then that'll be the end of the video. Okay? Alright, so let's go. We're going to go, I'm going to grab the setup guide and we're going to get started on setup. Alright, Defcon setup guide. First thing we're going to do is we're going to place 1 control marker per block played on the initiative track. So whoever's playing the game, whoever's in the scenario, we're going to put a control marker in this space, and it goes right here. Alright, so mainly this is going to be always the way you're going to start up the initiative track. So first thing is going to be the Atlantic Alliance. So it's going to be American flag first. Then it's going to be Warsaw Pact, that's Russia. We're going to place a Russian token. And then we got France. We got France one. And then we have NAM, but that's neutral, it's not going to be used. So we're going to use then China. So China's going to be next. Because we're going to set up for east-west. Okay. Place starter units on the play blocks via Worldbook page 7. Okay, so I did that mainly so you can go into the rulebook and it tells you what page to go to. So you're going to go to page 7. And page 7 shows you what items are being put on for each specific one. So let's go to that Atlantic Alliance first. We have a headquarters. Headquarters will be set at USA 1. So that goes right there. Alright, cruiser squadron. Cruisers are, and this is the thing that's confusing. This cruiser squadron is a 2. So we're going to place one of these in a 4. I'll get set here. Mechanical Corps unit in Alaska. So that's going to be our number 2s, and that's going to be in Alaska. We also have one in BRD, so we'll take another 2-1. And that's going to be in BRD 2. And then also we set a motorized division. That's the number 1 in USA 2. Okay. And that's for Atlantic Alliance. Warsaw Pact. We have a headquarters. This goes into Russia 1. Okay. We have Frigate Division in NB. That's in 1. In NB, so I get set here. Alright. Armored Army Unit in DDR. That's a tank. And that's in DDR. DDR. Oh, right here, next to Europe. Okay. We have a mechanical corps in Chukota. Next to the eastern side of Russia. Alright, motorized division in Russia 2. And another motorized division in Russia 3. Okay. We put a SSN in our special unit space. We put a political protection marker in Kavaz. Okay. And a political protection marker in Kazakhstan. No, it's not right here. Okay, good. Alright. Non-aligned units. Well, I got these here. So, headquarters is going to be set in Iran. And this is neutral, but we're still going to add them. Okay, frigate division, and that's going to be in I2. Okay, mechanical division, Indonesia. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alright, and motorized division in Libya. Libya. Okay. And a motorized division in Egypt. Okay. Alright, France. He's going to get headquarters in factory area, port area. So he's going to paste that there, headquarters. Alright, he's going to do frigate division in MN. Well, it's going to be here. Alright. Motorized unit in Guyane. Oh, right here. Okay. Motorized unit in Indochine. Okay. And political protection marker in AF. And protection marker in AOF. Okay. And the last thing is China. We put a headquarters in Hebei 1. Right here. and mechanical core in Heavite 2. Right there. So that's our let's see. Okay. So it says unplayed blocks. Place these units in the following areas within the main area of every unplayed block. So the factory BHQ, and we did that already. Motorized division in every oil. Okay, so these are going to go in here. Every oil one. Okay. Alright. And uranium, we're going to put a mechanical one in. So it goes here. Okay. I think. Alright. And that is it. Okay. Good. Well, this one shouldn't be here. I think I was wrong about that. So that shouldn't be included in there. This shouldn't be included in here. Okay, leave it up. Okay. Then we got instability markers. So we're gonna place these instability markers on one, stability 1, place, no, 2 marker in it. So it'll be Australia 1, Australia 2, these all go in the neutral areas, I mean second areas, let me get it straight. North Korea, okay, and South Europe, okay, and Sahara, and Turkey, okay, and Cuba. So, there. Alright, we're all set. So, new 2 units, we're going to place 1 motorized division, okay, and that's going to be these, not this way. Here they are. In every second area of the following types. Okay, so we're gonna have, it's gonna be factory, uranium, influence, and oil. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so it's placing 1 neutral motorized division unit in every second area of following types. Factory. So we're going to take some ones. Yes. Take all these out. Go over. And we're putting in any areas that don't have any markers already. So, and it has to be gray areas. Okay, so these areas have to have either factory, uranium, and influence, or oil. Alright, so this side we don't need right now. Alright, so factory. Alright, uranium, oil, oil, that's not factory. Congo, here we go. That's influence, R&D, no R&Ds. Okay, and then we got, let's see, another factory, influence. Okay. Okay. Oil. Premium. Factory. Another oil. Let's see, is there anything else? Look here. I missed something, so I should have less influence. So it goes here. Okay. That's it. Yep, that's it. Cool. Alright, done. Alright, so the next thing we do is each block gets resourced on the block board. Okay. So before, let me check something real quick. No, that's not yours. Okay. Alright, so basically we're going to start with US. So US has a maximum that's shown on the left hand corner of the block. And also the starting ones would be inside the block to start. So it's looking like we're going to get, let's do squares first blocks. These are R&D. So Russia's going to get 6 to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. China gets 2. USA Atlantic Alliance gets 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And France gets 3. Alright. That's the first one. And oil. Russia gets 1, 2, 3, 4. China gets 2. I can start with 4 at USA. 3, 4. And France gets 2. Okay. Oh, see what I think. Alright. And uranium. I think everybody pretty much starts with 1. Okay. And then influence markers. Russia starts with 2. China starts with 2. Alliance starts with 2. And France starts with also 2. Okay, perfect. Alright. And then you want to go to your technology book, and I already written down what the starting technologies are. France has 0. The Atlantic Alliance starts with A-bomb. So you can just place that there. We start with that technology. Also gets five. Huh. I have to fix that. It's just a stray betel. Okay. So let's see if I can get it out here. Okay. But it still needs to get the one influence on one R&D to do it. Okay. That's that. Look at the space. Yeah, space one. Okay. So you start with the space one. So they get this. Okay. In China, he gets greatly forward. For operation. Red Guards. Cultural Revolution. Socialism, market economy. Okay, and I said France gets 0. So this is set. I should have put. I may have to add the NAM. I don't know if they have anything. I have to look and see. But I will have to add that to the document because I didn't put it in there. That's my mistake. Okay. Alright, so it doesn't look like NAM has anything for the text. So that is the end of setup. Okay. So the next thing we're going to discuss is our mission cards. The reason I put a reference card because it has in the back, but it's possibly easier to have on one reference sheet for it, so you can determine what you want to use with these mission cards are. So we're going to talk about that. I'll give a few examples, and I'll look for a few examples first before we start this. and then we'll look at some cards and explain them. Alright, so I'll be right back then with that. Alright, the next reference sheet we're going to talk about is mission card reference sheet. First thing, when you use these cards, you're going to have a maximum of 3 cards in your hand to start the game. You can also discard cards if there's cards in your hand that you can't really use and you want to discard them. During phase 1 through 5, that's what we'll be discussing during the round reference guide. You can discard 1 card and gain 1 R&D cube. And it's dependent on how many cards you discard. You can discard all 3 and get 3 R&D cubes if you want for your to upgrade your units, do some tech, move up the space race, whatever. Those 3 things you can do. And we'll discuss more about the stuff that you can do during your turn. For phases 3 and 5 though, you could also discard 2 cards to produce 1 free frigate division, and you can put it in any place that you have controlled. You would, with a control marker in it, you could place any place that's, you can place a ship next to, that's adjacent to a control marker that you have on land, and you place it in one of those maritime areas if you want. Okay, if you have more than 3 cards, you're going to have to discard at least the amount that gets you down to 3. You decide which ones, and you just throw them in your discard pile. Okay, mission rewards mechanics. One thing about instant actions you can do, that also includes your tech that you have here. The tech will tell you specifically which round you can do those in. It will be in a white circle, and it should say like 1, 2, 3. It's not going to show 0 because you never can use an instantaneous action during phase 0. Okay, only 1 through 5. It depends on which type of action it is. Okay, that's the first thing. Some mission cards may have a instantaneous thing. If it does, then you can use it during any phase except for, like I said, 0. Okay? If it doesn't show a instantaneous thing, you may not gain a reward if its condition wasn't fulfilled. So basically what they're saying is if you draw a card and you can fulfill it at that point, no, it's not the way it works. You have to have it available on the phase that you can do it on, or during your turn. You can't do it on the same turn you pick a card. That's what I'm saying. Alright. A mission card that shows at least 1 flag bonus. Now, talking about flag bonuses, they're talking about, let's see if I can grab a card out of the China deck here that has a flag bonus on it. Okay, this one has this one, but this is France, and it shows a French flag here. Sometimes I'll have an American flag or a French, and if you get more of those, depending on what this states here, which ones you can do by the different factions, the different blocks, I should say, not factions but blocks. You can do that specific reward. You get that reward every flag that you can accomplish. So if you do like 2 American, 1 France, and 1 Russian, and so that means 3. You don't get 4 because you did 2 American, because it's only depends on how many flags each block that you do. So you can get 3 of those rewards. That's what that is. That's what it states. Alright, and the bonus granted is normally immediate. Oh, I'm sorry. Mostly when you get it. Also, when you draw another mission card, you can also use it during your current turn. The bonuses granted are immediate even if they are not concerning the current phase. Okay, so that means if you get to pick a card from another card, you can use that card right away and get the reward for it. If you take control of an opposing area when completing a mission, and that area contains a missile, you will automatically destroy the missile and out of the silo. The reward, if the reward is technology, it is immediately developed for free and available. Each tech requires another tech to be developed first, and if you have not done so, your reward is lost. So what it means is you will need to prepare yourself. If you want to do a specific card, you need to make sure you have all the techs that are supposed to be done before you use that reward, or it's basically lost. You won't get it. If the reward allows you to advance the space marker, you advance the number of boxes shown without accounting for the immediate boxes, gain 1 influence, and so does the block associated with the box. So basically, if it tells you to move 3 spaces, the only one you're concerned about is the 3rd space, and that's the influence. You get an influence and the block who has the specific area gets the influence. Alright, if space tech tiles are reached or crossed, each corresponding block takes them. That's just a given. So if it passes a specific space tech, then that specific country or block will take that and put it on their block board. You benefit from the reward even if you did not develop ICPM. So if you don't have ICPM, it doesn't matter. You still get the tech, but you cannot use the tech until you get all your immediate techs before that. So remember that. You have it on your board, but you can't use it till you get the ones that are priority. Alright? And that is basically my mission card reference sheet. Very simple and self-explanatory. If you any icons or any symbols, you go onto the technology board book. On the back, it's got a bunch of icons here that will tell you what they're used for. It even has the 5 phases. It also comes out with tax scoops and destabilizations. It tells you what the conditions are. And then also a bunch of descriptions of your technologies that you get. You can look that over anytime you want. Alright, so that is the monster cards and explanation of the text. Now we're going to go into the big one. And that's your game round reference sheet. And we'll go through some examples. So this is the longest part of the video. So I hope you enjoyed so far the video. With all the explanations, I will have all these reference sheets attached to the description. Don't worry. And let's go on to the game round reference. Alright, this one's I think around 8 pages. But this is good. Everybody should have one copy. So when you go into phase 0, you can, while the person's doing his phase, you can look over it and see what you want to do. So we'll be talking about this stuff. So each phase is played in initial order, except for I think it's phase 4. We'll explain that in a sec. This is the start of the game, for example, so you will not do phase 0, but we'll explain it. I'll explain phase 0 after the other phases because it makes more sense that way, how to do it. Okay? So we're going to start with phase 1. So, you can spend during the R&D phase, this is your phase 1, you can spend R&D cubes to develop a technology on a blockboard. That's one thing you can do. You can also make a factory operational. And space race. you move the space token up 1. Alright, so the way we do this is, let's do a technology. So we're going to use China, for example. Well, no, we're going to use America because he's first. So right now he already has the A-bomb out. So he can develop the H-bomb. He can develop Tomahawk. Oh no, he can't develop Tomahawks yet. He needs a bunch of stuff there before we can do that. He needs ICPM. And that's probably one I'm going to develop because ICPM is used for the space track. You will need to have, if you want to start moving the space track normally, you have to have ICPM. So I will get ICPM. So I'm going to grab my tile. And this one has a 1 with a white square on it. And what that means is it's developed by just one, the first phase. So one, I have to take one R&D, spend it. Okay, I did. Alright, and I got that. And then you look at R&D, it says first person who makes it gets a satellite. So he's going to grab a satellite. Okay. So he gets the satellite and he puts it in his special units. Okay. Then he can start moving. Oh yeah, this goes over here. Sorry. The next thing he can do is he can start moving his space stuff. So he's going to move 2 spots. So the way he makes 2 spots is he's going to go and he's going to put 2 more R&D in because you do 1 for each spot. So he's moving. The first one is Russia. So that's going to give Russia a influence token. And so also America gets one because he's moving up to space, so he gets an influence token. And these are important because these are used basically for the initiative. And right now the United States the Atlantic Alliance is the initiative, so that's good. So then I go here, I get another influence. So now I'm at 4. And also I get my tech that's here. And this is NASA. So NASA I'll put out here. And I need to spend 2 R&D for that. So that's going to give me, lets me move 1 space more on the space track. So I'm going to spend 2. Alright. And alright, so that is my turn for the R&D phase. Because I have no more R&D left. Now I could take my cards, like I told you before, and I will look at these real quick, see what I have here. This is gonna be tough. Oh, these are hard. Except for Cuba, maybe. So I'm going to take 2 of these. These 2 are pretty difficult. Put these on my bottom, and I will get 2 more R&D. So I just spent 2 of my cards, and I get 2 R&D back. So in case I want to use that later on, maybe during upgrading units or something like that. That's my turn. Alright, so I showed you how to get a tech. I showed you how to move on the space race. And I showed you how to use cards to get more R&D tokens. Alright, so that's pretty simple. Alright. Now sometimes, some of these techs have two phases where you have to upgrade the thing. Like for example, H-bomb on United States has a 1 and a 1. So that means you would do one R&D token one turn, and then you would do another R&D token the next turn. Now you can purchase it the first one and run round. The problem is that you will have to pay double for the second round, so you'd be 3 R&D tokens instead of 2 if you want to do that. Okay, so that's one thing about the technologies. All right. So that's and then link technologies. We'll have arrows on the blocks here. Like for example, with China, ICPM is connected to low and is connected to Dongfeng 3. So you will need to get ICPM before you can get low and Dongfeng 3 for that. Alright, then you also have make a factory operational. Well, you know what? Let me see if I have one that I can. Right now I don't. Oh, I do have one. So I will spend my last two R&D I just got from the United States, and I will get a factory, and I'll place that, and that's operational here in BRG2 in Europe for the United States. So I'm good there. So now I can start getting more units. Alright, that's one thing we didn't do. So we just did that. Then the space race I talked about. You spend 1 RD cube to go to the space track. You get an influence cube as well as the space program's owner. And if there's technology on the space program owner receives the technology even without the ICPM. Okay, but you can't use it if it has something that has to be made first before you can use that. All right, satellites. A block who developed the IPMs gains 1 satellite to put in their special unit space on the block board. I did that. The United States did that. As soon as the space marker passes over a space program showing a satellite, then flip the first no active text tile. Alright. To make its effect active. Okay, so we haven't done that yet. This hasn't got past that yet. Alright. Can spend satellites to use following abilities if these are flipped over. So basically use satellites to do those special abilities. Right now we have none. Okay. Then we have 3 different types of satellites. The first one's going to come out will be the recon satellite. That will let you perform 1 additional redeployment with 1 of your units that's on the board. The second satellite is the military communication satellite. You can discard 1 mission card of your choice from your hand to draw 3 mission cards. Then choose 1 card and put the 2 remaining on the bottom of the mission deck. And then you have the spy satellite that will force the opponent of your choice to discard 1 mission card of their choice in their hand. You can do that. That's the third satellite, and that's going to be later on. Okay. So that is phase 1. And we go into phase 2. So, let me quickly go through and update these guys, these other blocks up to the phase, and then we'll go into phase 2. Okay, so next thing we got is our phase 2. So there's a few things you can do here. You got political phase, and it's coups and destabilizations. So coups are pretty much done in neutral areas right now because we're in Defcon 5. So United States is first, so you can do but you have to spend 1 influence cube to attempt a coup. Only another block has natural influence in the area and may try to coup. So the United States does have a spot with Guatemala that has a natural influence here, and he's the only one that can go there. So then he's going to place, he's going to take one of the natural influence off, his influences off, and he's going to spend, and he's going to grab this and put one of these ones with the hands on them in that space. Nobody can contest him because he's the only person that can go in that space. Alright. The thing you have to be adjacent to that spot, and I am, because I have a unit here adjacent to it, so I'm fine. I'm good there. Alright. If there's no opposition, you just place one of your control markers and target in, and then place their one motorized unit. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I made a mistake here. Alright, this is destabilization. So I'm doing destabilization of the unit, so I'm putting a instability 1 in here. The only time you do instability 2s is during a coup. Okay? And we do have some around the board. I do have one in Europe, but I can't get to it. I know South Europe. We do have a coup in Cuba. I could go there because I am adjacent via my unit in USA. So but the problem is, I don't think I can go in that. I can't go in Cuba. No, because I don't have influence there. The only person that has influence there is Russia. But let me go through the procedure. This is very important. Now, for example, let's say, let me see if I have one that can do both. North, South Europe. Yeah, this one. So let's say, for example, I did want to try to coup South Europe. The problem is, I'm not the only one that has natural influence there. Russia does. So we could go, and whoever starts, like let's say I started, I would take one of my influence markers, okay, and I would use that. So then, let's say Russia wanted to, well, that was his marker, but let's say then he would have to put a marker in. That's his red marker. Then we have to do a bid. So an inactive block may bid as many influence cubes as he wishes. Okay? So that would be Russia. So Russia would have to decide, and he says, well, I'm going to put in 2. Okay? Alright, he puts in 2. Well, these 2, the first 2 are gone away, so they go back to their pool. And then I would have to bet higher than 2 to do it. So I would spend, or I would No, I would have to put 2 in. See, I could do it because I'm the first player and I get the initiative. Then that would count for me. I could go put in 2, and if there's a tie, then I would win. Now, for example, if he had 3 and I only had 2, then I would have lost anyway, and it would have been. So basically, I would put one of my control markers, okay, into South Europa. Okay? And then this goes away. Alright, and that's it. And then these get discarded and put in our pool. And that's how a coup's done. Alright. Alright, so that's coup. Now, if it's a control area, a bot controlling it automatically enters the foul or struggle. So if there's an area that's empty, it has no unit in it, period, but some block has a influence. For example, let's see, well now for example, if let's say they wanted to try to influence this area, but they would have to be adjacent to it, so that's not really a good example. Let's say this guy here, Igzang, and Nam was in the game, he would want to go in there. Well, it's already controlled basically by China already, but he has no marker there. So he could do a coup in there and try to take it over. So basically, the first thing that happens is freely gets into the power struggle. He doesn't just have to spend an influence to get into it. So China would not have to get an influence in the first square. So we'd save an influence for that round, for that coup. Then Nam would have to put a square in there, and then they would do the bidding like I just showed you earlier. And it would go the exact same way. Alright. But like for example, we don't have Nam in there, so it's not part of this scenario, but I'm just showing you an example. So if, let's say for example, after that, so then the active player, whoever the active player is, that would be Nam, would vote. He put 2 in, and then China he only has 1 left. Well, then it's going to be hard because he's going to lose anyway. He's not going to spend it. So then we would put a Nam control marker in the space right here, and he'd be controlled over the space. All right. Now destabilization. You spend 1 influence cube to destabilize a neutral area, main or secondary, in which you have a natural influence adjacent to the land you control. So this is where you would destabilize an area that's empty. So like for example, that's what I did with Guatemala here, is I did a destabilization. I took one of my markers with the instability 1, spend an influence, and if there's any neutral unit there, you destroy it. And then you basically wait till the next turn until it goes 2, and then you can do a coup on it and get a control marker on that space. Alright. So that's basically what a destabilization is done. So spend 1 influence cube to destabilize a neutral area, main or secondary. So neutral area means any of the gray areas. Well, neutral area would be okay. Yeah, so it would basically be these are all secondary areas with the gray, and then you have the main neutral areas would be the green, because that's what we're playing. We're playing east and west, so this would be all the green areas would be neutral. Okay, so that's basically how it goes. All right, and that is a destabilization. So the next thing we do, that's phase 2. So now we're going into production phase, and that would be phase 3. So the next phase is going to be phase 3, that's production phase. And we produce, we get to produce 1 free unit per factory. If you have technology, you produce that unit. Can place the ground unit area that has the factory or or land adjacent to this area. You can place a naval unit in the maritime area adjacent to this area. You control a factory. Note, if you can place a unit in an area that contains one of your units by placing with one higher strength, then the replaced unit goes to the pool. All special units are placed in the available special unit space on the blockboard. Okay, so I have, the US has 2 factories. So he's gonna place a ship. Oh wait, no. Oh, I'm sorry. He's gonna place a what does he have? He's got tanks. So I will place those over here in US 3. Okay. Then I got another factory there. I can place it. I'll place another tank over here. Okay, and that's my other factory. Then it's going to be Russia, and Russia can, let's see where he wants to place it. He's going to place, he's got 3 tanks, so he's going to place one. Let's see. Place it here. I'm going to place it here. I think I'll place it here. Okay, and he's taking other factories. I doubt it. Well, no, that's the only one. Okay, and then it's French's turn. He's got 1 factory, so he's gonna place a tank in French 3, right there. Okay. And then China, he's got 1 factory, so I can place, I'll place 1 on my tanks. And right here. Cool. Alright, and that's the phase 3. Very simple. Unit upgrade. Spend 1 oil R&D cube to upgrade 1 unit anywhere on the map. So, I have no R&D, so I can't upgrade. I think take 1 oil and 1. Oh no, wait, I need to do. Let's see, do I have any R&D? Yeah, I do. I got 1. And 1 of these. Let's see, do I have anything to upgrade on? Yes, so I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna upgrade with yeah, 2. So 2, I'll grab this one. Okay. Put this up. And I can still do one more. So I'll do another one. And he'll do another 2 here. Right there. Okay. Alright. Alright, and then that's Russia. Then we got Paris. So he's gonna upgrade. Let's see, he can upgrade 1. Which one will I upgrade though? I think I'm gonna upgrade one of them. So I'm gonna get a 2, I think. Motorize, and I'm gonna place this one right here. Okay. Alright, and then China, you can do 1 upgrade. So he's doing pretty good. Yeah, so I don't think he's upgrading anything. Alright, so that's the second part of that phase. Then it's phase 4. Phase 4 is our nuclear phase. Alright, and it's not played in initial order. It's done by the Defcon tracker that we have on our boards, but everybody right now is at 0. So it's going to go by initiative anyway. So the only time that our nuclear strikes is done is during Defcon 1. Now Defcon 1, just as a curiosity, is there's 2 different strikes. You can use your missile, or you can equip missiles. So you equip missiles of your type from the technology you have, and the missile you fire goes back to the pool. Alright, range and point of impact of missile. Measures done by the siler's yellow point. So basically, let's take an example where China is going to try to attack France. Okay, she's going to attack this spot here. So if he attacks this, and he can go anywhere between on this point. All right. So basically, that's you place this on the tracker here, and then this will tell you where you can go. So I can put it here, and that's no problem. I can place it right here. Hey, that's good enough for me. So that's what I'm going to attack. So that's how you determine by using a silo. You must reach target territory. The blast may be dependent on the type of bomb. The nuclear strike from an SSPN can target any territories on the map, so there's no range. These missiles can strike a different territory, and your SSPN will get to act during the operational phase of the turn as an attack, using for attacking. Okay, A-bombs, if you have those, you have 1 target area. Removes any unit that area contains and destroys any missiles that are in that area. H-bombs will target 2 areas. Removes any units, resources, and factories those areas contain and destroys any missiles those areas contain. Then the TSAR bomber that's on the Russian targets 3 areas in the same territory. It is removed any units, resources, and factories that those areas contain, and destroys any missiles that areas contain. Place 1 nuke marker to cover removed resource or factory. Removed units cannot be produced anymore. So those basically are taken out of the game after they destroy it. And the block controlling the area hit by a nuclear strike does not change. So the control doesn't change during a nuclear strike. Striking the maritime area. Naval units cannot be produced anymore. It's the same thing. You don't produce them. Okay, so that is. Oh, I can't just other page here. Sorry. If the area has an oil reserve, cover the nuclear marker. If it's maritime. Alright. Okay. Then, basically, nuclear production. Then 3 uranium missile, uranium per missile. Alright, we don't have them, so we're not going to do it. Place missiles inside your control. Or you can spend 3 uranium to put one in your SSPN. And you would put those in the same spot, the special units, if you have those units in your special unit box. SSPN uses A-bomb or H-bombs. It cannot use the Taza bomber, that's only surface missiles. And SSBM is destroyed, all nuclear missiles are destroyed. So that is nuclear phase. Not very much to that. The next thing, the main option is operational phase. This is where we're going to use our maritime and our land units to attack others. And there's a procedure how you have to do it. So we'll show you how to do that in right now. This is the last part of our review of the phases, except for phase 0. Yeah, I have to go through that. Alright, so we'll do that, and that will be our supplemental for our other videos that I will put attaching to the description also, that we've already done. Okay? Okay, so now we do the last phase, phase 5, operational phase. This is at the end. And this is where we move our naval units on our ground units. So first thing is going to be our naval units may attack if they want or move. So basically any of the 1 naval units can move 2 spots. The other ones can only move 1 spot. So, and it's dependent if you want to move it or not. There's some resources that you have that you may want to keep a ship there. Like for example, my US has one at A4 that has produced an oil, and I want to have that there while I'm when I'm producing all my resources. So I want to keep that there. Okay. So I think that's the only unit I have. I'm not going to move it. But if I wanted to, and let's say for example, we're going to do an example. So let's say I was here. I would go and decide to attack this guy. All right, and so I say I'm gonna attack using my ship. Destroy this #1 ship. Has a 1 power. All right, now they have an opportunity to use submarines to give it a +1 power. And United States doesn't have any at this time. They haven't made they have one, but it's not made yet. So the only person to protect himself, he can, let's see. So let's go to, we're going to bomb it afterwards. We're doing naval warfare. So we're just going to have to spend 1 gold on 1 oil to do that. So I put oil in there. And then this is the procedure. So attacker and defender add SSPNs add to the attack. So I'm adding one of my subs to it, so it gives me 2. If attacker wins, defender unit is destroyed. Then attack decides if he wants to occupy attacked area or leave attacker's unit in his current area. I wrote down if it was a tie. And I don't think I did that. I made a mistake here. Or, let me see. If attacker wins, defender unit is destroyed, then attack decides if he wants to occupy the area or leave attackers in the unit's area. Then do a Defcon adjustment. Either way, the SSP. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was very made it more clear than it was on some parts of the video of Defcon 1 when I went through it. The guides that I brought in are going to make it a lot simpler for you to play the game. You don't have to look at the rulebook as much. Hopefully that will help. And otherwise, it's a great game. It's a great game to play. I didn't want to go too much into it this time because I already have the full video of East and West already. But just wanted to go through some points to make sure you understood the different phases, some of the rules and stuff I went through and made it a little more streamlined. I hope you got most of it. If you have any questions, just hit the comment section and we'll answer them for you. And otherwise, I will try to find a competitive game that we will be playing next. Oh, wait a minute. No, it won't be competitive. I'm sorry. It's going to be a campaign game. So I will figure out which one that will be and we'll get it started tonight.